What are we gonna title it? Maya went down
Maya's
a rabbit
a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, Maya stormed the Capitol.
Action. What are you doing? Oh. A dwink.
Where's your drink? Oh, I forgot I was gonna get us drinks. Next week. Ludwig's gonna get me a coffee.
Of an iced coffee, and I have some water.
Well, we'll have coffee about it soon then when my coffee gets here.
Yay, coffee about it. Your iced vanilla latte.
Dude, it's so funny. Mi Young and I are very similar in like she has dissociation issues. And we've been playing Played Up together. Yesterday we played for 7 hours. And I've learned that both of us have the ability while playing Played Up to just zone out. And just like robot.
Like, keep doing it.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to us when we played Played Up because we were not talking.
I love it. I love Played Up so much. But now I'm like,
you really do.
I woke up really dissociated. So I was like, uh-oh.
Oh no.
I know. I think Played Up might be a culprit.
Mental health.
But I love it.
No, not Played Up.
Not Played Up. I love it so much.
Guys, I am caffeinated right now, and also I am on one. I am just fired up today.
She's a pill. That's what my mom used to say. I don't know what that means.
I think actually my mom used to say that too.
You're being a pill.
Yeah.
So now I say it, but I don't know what it means.
And then she gets mad. She says, "Hey, bucko."
Oh.
When she's driving, she goes, "Hey, bucko." Or if I was doing something annoying when I was a kid, she'd be like, "Hey, bucko, stop that."
Really?
Yeah, so if anyone calls me bucko, I get scared.
I don't think my mom had anything. My mom, one thing my mom would always do, you could like, I could find her in the grocery store because of how she talked. She like the way she would always like on her T's. And so I could like listen for like and I'd know where she was.
Echolocate in the grocery
store. And like,
that's crazy.
Whenever she gets off the phone, she'd be like, bye.
Yeah, my mom does that
bye.
too.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. I'm like, huh?
That's funny.
I don't get it. Mom thinks.
Mom thinks.
Mom thinks. I've done nothing this week.
You played so much Played Up.
Can remember. I've played like 10 hours of Played Up, 15 hours of Played Up.
You've played a bunch of Played Up. You've gone on a lot of walks. You've gotten a lot of coffee. You've made some bracelets.
I'm trying to do freaking 10K steps a day. I'm trying to not take Ozempic and lose weight. And you have to walk so much to get to 10K.
10K steps is a lot.
It's insane. I went on a 45-minute walk yesterday, and then I went on a 30-minute walk, and I only ended at 9,000. I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
That is lame as hell.
How do you get to 10,000? How do you have the time in your day to walk that much?
I feel like you have to have a job that requires that you're moving a lot.
Ugh.
Yeah, and yours doesn't.
Maybe I'll get one of those under desk treadmills for when I play Played Up.
Sick.
But then I'll need a standing desk too. So missing.
You should do VR Played Up with a treadmill so you feel like you're moving in the kitchen.
That actually would probably be good for me mentally.
Crazy. I don't know if it would be good for you mentally. Based on what we just discussed.
Well, I feel grounding because you have to move.
Oh.
I did go on a very long hike, and
your beautiful scenic LA hike.
Yeah, my beautiful scenic LA hike, and it was raining, which was nice. I got scammed this week again. This is my straight hair.
It does look a little different. It does look a little straighter. Did you straighten it?
I straightened it.
Oh.
But this is as straight as I could get it.
Tell them about it. Tell them how much you paid.
So, I don't know. You know those Brazilian blowouts? I've never had one, and I've always been like, why do people get those? Apparently, they include, like, they straighten your hair for, like, 6 months. And I'm like, that's sick, because my hair is, like, wants to be curly so bad, but I don't know how to take care of curly hair, and so it's just frizzy and crazy. And I also don't want curly hair. I want straight hair. But, you know, not my choice. And so turns out Brazilian blowouts have formaldehyde in them, and it like is linked to like a lot of uterine cancer. So I was like, don't want one of those. But then this like organic salon, because I live in LA, I don't know, I didn't know you could get shampoo that's like pasture raised, but you can. Um, they offer this non-toxic keratin treatment that is supposed to do the same thing. It's supposed to like straighten your hair for 6 months. I got it on Wednesday and it was $350 if you include the tip, $400. And this is it. And I followed all the rules. You're not supposed to wash your hair for 2 days. You're not supposed to sweat. You're not supposed to clip it up.
It does look good. The problem is she paid like $400, and then after the first wash, it like went back to normal.
Yeah.
And it's not.
I mean,
apparently there's not
like
a special
shinier.
shampoo.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, you did get products for it.
I got normal products, like just products in general. But I don't know. I'm sad about it. I wonder if I've read about this thing called like hair Botox. I don't know.
So LA.
So
what does that even?
I don't know.
What does it mean?
I don't know.
Inject your hair.
I don't know. I don't know what it means. But I just want straight hair so bad. I want straight and manageable hair for at least 3 to 6 months instead of one wash.
Treatment infuses the hair with intense hydrations while replacing and filling in the lost cuticle layers, creating a protective barrier, coating the hair shaft and gluing the cuticle layers down and temporarily filling in and replacing lost cuticles.
Does it give you cancer? Hair Botox cancer.
Cancer. Botox for hair is definitely a safe treatment. It contains no toxins, and this comes from a salon that sells it.
Oh,
just want to put that.
I trust them.
It contains no toxins and harmful chemicals, making this the best treatment for your hair.
Wow.
Guaranteed. Risk and considerations from Medical News Today. Sometimes the opposite occurs. Most stylists do not recommend using these treatments more than 3 to 4 times a year. Otherwise, hair breakage, thinning, and dullness can occur.
Dullness?
Formaldehyde has been linked to cancer. Hair Botox does not contain chemicals and will not remove your curls.
What?
It seems safer than...
But it just said it will not remove your curls.
It does say that. I don't think I haven't seen anything about it being for straightening. It's just
What's
for like
it
repair.
For? Oh.
Like repairing your hair. So
well, I need that too, so I guess I'll never figure it out. It's okay. It's fine.
It seems, from the 4 quick sources that I've read, all of which I don't know the backing of, it seems safer than keratin.
What? Safer than keratin or safer than Brazilian blowouts?
The last one I just read said keratin. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't even remember what the source was.
Drama.
You're fine. No, you're fine.
Well, mine explicitly was called non-toxic keratin treatment.
Excellent.
So maybe they just have the toxic keratin treatment. I don't know. Yeah. Regardless, it's all washed out, so it doesn't matter.
They would label it toxic keratin treatment.
They would.
For sure.
Oh, God. What'd you do this week?
I worked, I filmed, I went and got beers, I went to dinner, I went shopping, but I didn't buy anything. I like shopping without buying things. That's all I remember. I talked to you on the phone?
Yeah, that's when I was on my walk.
That's all I remember. Oh, and I freaking spiraled.
On what?
But that's from this morning.
What?
What? This is going to take up like a bunch of the podcast. What? Are you do we have anything else to do in the intro?
Do I have anything else that I desperately need to talk to you about? I probably did, but the issue is it's a disassociated Monday and I can't remember for the life of me what my middle name is right now.
Happy Dissociative Monday.
God, happy Dissociative Monday. I saved something in my phone. I know I did. Here. Let me see. I put it hashtag.
I put something in topics too, actually.
Whine about it. I didn't even save it to us.
Oh, it's from before.
And it was... What's something you believed about sex when you were a virgin that you realized was not true when you started having sex. It was a Reddit that I thought was really interesting because as soon as I read that, I've told that story about my sister, who is the sweetest little sweet pea. She was raised Mormon. I was raised Mormon. And the night before her wedding, because you're not supposed to have sex before marriage or do like touch a penis before marriage in Mormonism, she asked me and her friend if man penises are like dog penises, and like it comes out like a red thing comes out.
She'd never even seen it?
No, I guess not. Which I think is actually
that's
dope of her. Okay. She has a special place in heaven.
Yeah, no kidding. That is crazy. That's so scary.
Yeah. And I was just curious if you had anything.
Not like that. I'm sure I did, but I can't really.
One for me was like blowjobs. I thought it was like.
Right. A lot of people think that.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any, because I definitely would have consumed porn before any of my like first sexual interactions.
Well, this had a lot.
Like I'd seen it.
This Reddit has a lot of good ones, like that you fall asleep naked after. Movies didn't tell us about the cleanup and the after act, like, you know, getting up, going pee. Like, I remember the first time I had sex, I'm lucky I didn't get a UTI, because like the guy I was with was not gentle whatsoever. Like, didn't like teach me anything. Honestly, could have gotten me pregnant. But I thought it was interesting.
I mean, it depends on how the first experience is, but I think you also assume it does not hurt. Like, yeah, you assume it just like feels good, and I think the first the first encounters that a lot of people have are painful.
I think one of
men are stupid.
The funniest things is, and I've heard this one before from different guys. Like, I'm looking at this Reddit right now, and it says, someone once told me that pussies taste like peaches, and I believed that for years until I tried it. It does not.
Right.
I remember my high school boyfriend at one point was like, yeah, like Noah Smith told me that pussy tastes like vanilla, and I'm like, I doubt it. But
I mean, they do say that in rap songs. I get why you would believe that. It's a nice thing to believe, I guess. But no.
No. All right. Well, if you don't I'm ready for your stories. Sorry, I have coffee on the way-ish when Ludwig leaves the house, and it usually helps me.
Guys, I have gone down an absolute rabbit hole in the past week. Granted, this probably started a long time ago. Did I talk about on the podcast my fear of taking birth control for this long?
No.
Or like switching birth controls? Really?
I don't think so.
Maybe I've talked about it on my stream. It started like months ago. I was getting all these TikToks that were like, I stopped taking birth control and had clarity for the first time in years. Context. I've been taking birth control, like the pill, since I was 16 years old. I'm now 25. So I've been on it for a very long time. And I started getting these TikToks of people saying like, birth control ruined my life. Like birth control, I don't know who I am anymore. Birth control ruined my life. Birth control. Explain.
Birth control was the thing that triggered my panic attacks.
Oh, right.
Because it caused, so it was the first time I was on it, and it caused such a shift in hormonal change that it caused me to have my first panic attack ever. And then it kind of like was unlocked in my brain. And then I never went back to normal. They were hoping, my doctor was like, get off the birth control and you should like level out. But then it was too late because your brain gets addicted to the adrenaline rush and blah, blah, blah. But
I've only gone off of it one time. This is a terrible example because I had also recently, it was like the same time I started an antidepressant for the first time. And I also stopped. So, okay. Was dating a guy for 5 years. We broke up. I got on an antidepressant and I stopped taking birth control because I was no longer sexually active. And then I don't know which of those to blame. I blame the antidepressant. But one, I like broke out when I stopped taking it. And then two, I tried to,
Yeah.
And then ended up in a involuntary holding unit because I was suicidal. But I think that is because there's a combination of factors there, right? I don't think it's because of the birth control.
That's
But
crazy
it was a
that
bad
your
time.
doctor would be chill with you stopping birth control while starting to. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think you should do that.
I don't think you should do that either.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, the point here, okay, guys, I have started a spiral, and it started in the last week, and it really took off this morning. I listened to several podcasts this morning and read several articles, and I have a lot to talk about, but it takes some context. It's going to take a lot of time for me to explain, and we have to go through some of the TikToks so you have an understanding of where this came from. So we're going to start with when I started getting these birth control TikToks and what they look like. We're going to have the producer pull them up, and then I will
Buckle up, bitches.
Bucko,
buckle up, buckos.
Bucko.
We're about to learn.
Time. We're about to learn.
What? Are you going to teach us? Audio listeners, she looks like she forgot what she was doing.
No, I know what we're doing. We're watching the TikToks.
Watching the TikToks. We're going to watch a TikTok and then explain to audio listeners what the girl is wearing a pair of sweatpants.
This is actually a funny example.
Has a TJ Maxx sign.
This is also a recent one. I just found a couple examples this morning.
What does it say?
Before birth control, semi-happy, kind of healthy, 100 pounds, didn't work out to be healthy. During birth control, depressed, anxiety at peak, basically bipolar, range between 140 and 130 pounds. It's a funny, like, severe...
She has so many pictures of her crying in this.
Yeah, she takes a lot of pictures of her crying. She's like, this is what happened during birth control. And then there's another TikTok of, I started seeing these. This is just an example I found, but there were so many on my For You page.
Right after, still had all the effects from birth control. Month after, healthy, strong, still have some lasting effects, hasn't gone away, 110 pounds, working out, eating better.
Saved her life.
Dude.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay. For the record, same though, Queen. I'm with K_Montgomery13. That's what happened to me.
Example number 2. Birth control does different things for everybody. It was just crazy because I started seeing. Also, we need sound. Well, sound would be ideal. I just started seeing so many back to back on my For You page, and I got so scared of taking it.
Right. I mean, the issue. Hey, forehead, it's clearly worked for you. You're 9 years in.
I have not gotten pregnant. Ever.
Yeah, it's worked for you and you haven't had all these things. So you're fine.
But I'm scared. What if all of my issues with anxiety and or all my issues with, like, I don't know. You have such
normal levels of anxiety. I'm telling you, when I was on birth control, I couldn't go to work. Like, I would walk in and be like...
Okay, can you play this one? With sound. There's no sound. You look so pretty like a devil.
You look so pretty like a devil. It's you. Shape of your body is you.
We're saying that because the last TikTok had that song behind it.
I haven't watched it. I've just heard it.
I heard a story about a woman, or apparently quite a lot of women, that are literally with their partners for like 10 years or 8 years, however long it is, and they've been on contraception the whole time. Then they're coming off it, and then they're not attracted to their partner. Could you imagine?
I actually had that in the sense that the first time I met this guy, didn't fancy him at all. And then I went on the pill for a while, and then suddenly this other guy who I like hadn't fancied at all was suddenly a god. I was like, oh my god, what has changed? And nothing had changed except from the fact that my mind was just frozen in this like weird place. I know. And now I look back and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking?
Okay, so that TikTok is saying there was a bunch of stuff going around about the pill that was like, if you get off the pill, you'll no longer be attracted to your partner. Like, it's like what's making you attracted to your partner. So then all the girls get so scared and then they stop taking birth control because they're like, oh my God, what if that's me? You know? So this is where it started, right? I got all these birth control TikToks, and I also was at the point where I was looking into other contraceptives. I was like, what if I have more clarity if I stop taking it? Like, I talked to you about this. I was like, I was looking up like vasectomies. I was like, what else can I be doing? Because I shouldn't be on this pill anymore. It's like clearly bad. Okay? That's where it started. And then the next content push that I saw, this was like within the past few months, I still get a bunch of kid TikToks. Everyone gets kid TikToks. I never like them. I only like animal TikToks. Yeah, my For You page should be like all animals. But I was getting a bunch of kid TikToks, and I remember noticing it and being like, why are they pushing all these kids? All the comments are like, baby fever, I need one now. And then I start getting TikToks like these, and this is where my spiral really started and why I've been freaking out for the past week, because I've gotten several of these
audio listeners,
on my For You page.
It's a woman standing on a rock holding a baby with a thing that I'm assuming is ironically saying, no, it's not ironically. It's seriously saying, I don't want a job.
Yeah.
I'll read them to you because I have a feeling that it doesn't talk.
I don't want a job. I don't want to be a corporate girly. I don't want to climb the ladder. I don't want to be a boss babe. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to be the breadwinner. I do not want to do that. You know what I want to do? I want to be home. I want to be cooking in the kitchen. I want to be cleaning. I want to be shopping. I want to be making brownies. I want to be cooking dinner, making homemade meals every night, almost every night. I want to do all the things.
Okay.
I love how admittedly she was like almost every night.
Almost every night. That's example number 1. Can you pull up example number 2? So I started getting all these TikToks now about like, I don't want to work. Like, I want to stay at home. Let me say, before I start talking about all this, some people want to do that and that's fine. Okay. Watch the second one. Actually, this one I do have to read. It's a video of this girl like prepping stuff in the kitchen. And the text says, you can play it and I'll like read the text. The text says, oh my god, TikTok is so cringe. I hate it.
She can't even read it.
It says, POV, you chose the soft life and let your man take care of the finances so you can rest in your feminine energy and spend all day in the kitchen. Okay? Which like,
dude, I'll tell you what, some people spending all day in the kitchen, what possibly are you cooking? I'm sorry, from a practical standpoint, like you could like, I could cook all of Thanksgiving dinner 4 times if I spent all day in the kitchen. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't get it. That upsets me. It's off the point.
She's upset.
But
she's pissed. The thing is, some people want to stay at home, of course, and some people have kids and want to stay at home and take care of their kids, which is totally fine. And part of like feminism is you can do whatever you want, including this, right? But there was something about getting these TikToks that just felt so weird to me.
It feels like propaganda.
It feels like patriarchal propaganda, and there's an opposition here of like, I don't want to be a corporate baddie. I don't want to be a boss
we're going back to the kitchens.
To the 60s.
All of us.
But it just felt so weird to me, and the progression of the TikToks that were being pushed to me in my page, starting with like, hey, birth control's bad, stop taking it, to then, look at all these cute kid videos, don't you want one? To then, I don't want to work, I want to stay home and take care of the kids. I just thought was fascinating considering what's happening to the birth rate right now. And also because of the patriarch. Anyway, okay. So this was the start of my spiral. I sent Cutie these TikToks. I literally said, what did I say? I was like, I'm scared, I think, is what I said.
I was just making bracelets. I said, make the friendship bracelets, take the moment and taste it.
That is what Cutie was doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, I said, dude, I'm scared. Because I kept sending her these TikToks, which, granted, is probably why I've been getting more of them, because I've been sharing them.
Yeah, you've been sharing them.
I get that too, but the progression is weird. And then I was like, you know what? TikTok is scary. We all know this. Like, TikTok is a social propaganda machine.
Yeah.
I am a victim.
You're a
TikTok's
victim.
Propaganda. I am scared of what it's doing to me, and I'm omega scared that I almost stopped taking birth control because of it.
Oh, she's being persuaded.
I'm being persuaded, and it's super effective. So then I fall down this absolute rabbit hole, and I will apologize on the front right now for sounding crazy.
Wait, can I say something before we jump to that?
Yes.
Can I just say, women, why are we like this? Why do we do this? Why can't this I'm generalizing here, but don't you bitches pretend like we don't do this. Like, just constantly try to figure out a way to be better than the next girl. Like being like, I don't want to be a boss babe. Like, because you're just like so mad at let the boss babies be boss babies. And also the boss babes be boss babes. But boss babies should be taken way more serious.
I think you're right. There is the reason that it struck me is I get videos all the time of like cooking and lifestyle, and they're like, I just love cooking for my kids. It's like cute. It was the like, I don't want to be a boss. Yeah.
I don't want a job. I don't want to be. And it's like, it's also funny because it's like, that's the invention of like calling girls pick-me girls, because you just have to have something to call a girl. Like, oh, there's pick-me girls, there's high maintenance girls, there's the guys girl, which pick-me girls were just guys girls. And then we decided to make it more derogatory than being like on the other team. And then like, it's just like, there's girly girls, there's this, and it just never ends. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Stop it, ladies. Okay. We can all be different things. Like me,
it's true.
I'm a stay-at-home wife. I'm a stay-at-home wifey who loves to cook and clean and do laundry all day because it does take all day, damn it, and pet my cats. And I let him handle the finances.
That's not true.
Come on.
Okay.
I'm manifesting. I actually want that. I'd be so
we can
bored.
all be. She would be bored. But she does love homemaking.
I do.
Judy loves cooking and cleaning.
I
like cooking.
I was raised Mormon, so I know how to sew. I know how to have missionary with my eyes closed. I know how to do all the things that Mormon women do.
I am going to spend the next however long sounding like a crazy person, and even you are probably going to be like, are you okay? Like, I realize that I sound insane. I've fallen down a whole rabbit hole this morning.
Okay. That's fine. I'm excited
so
for
I've learned about it. Is crazy. I've listened to several.
Quick side note, isn't it crazy that most people do have sex with your eyes closed? Feels like there's a lot going on to close your eyes.
What are you talking about right now?
Do you have sex with your eyes closed?
Sometimes.
Yeah. There's a lot of movement to just be doing it with your eyes closed.
What are you talking about?
Where
does that come from?
That is what I'm talking about, because I made a joke.
Just like completely randomly?
Yeah, because I just made a joke about it. Is that crazy?
About having what are you talking about?
Do you jump rope with your eyes closed? No. There's a lot of physical things going on to have your eyes closed. That's crazy. Maya, I was on a rant about being Mormon, and I made a joke about having sex with your eyes closed, and then I was sitting here and I was thinking, do I actually have sex with my eyes closed? And I was like,
when did you make a joke about having your eyes closed Mormon? You said something about missionary.
Yeah, I said missionary with your eyes closed, like a good Mormon.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that. So I was like, what is
she was like, I'm going to call her psychiatrist right now. It's gotten too far.
Okay. So I've started listening to these podcasts about the wellness. People are going to be so shocked that I'm talking about this. The wellness to QAnon pipeline.
What?
Do you know what QAnon is?
I know it because my grandpa loves it.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I know because of Hassan. I know it's like where like a lot of people. Oh. It's like Reddit, but like scarier, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a very hard thing to describe because it's like a cult, but it's not a cult. There's no like central. There's a logo, I think, but there's no like central. You can't officially be a member of QAnon. It was a movement that was started in like 2017 on 4chan, and people would anonymously post things, just like super radicalized things about like, Hillary Clinton ripping the faces off of babies and sucking their blood, and
it's so cool, and she does that,
and anti-Semitic memes and just like super
not
racist
cool.
Stuff and whatever.
It's
just
cool.
Like very super not cool.
Not cool.
So it's just like super radical, whatever, and there's tons of pockets for it on the internet.
Think about 4chan and QAnon like Bloody Mary, like you can't say it 4 times or like you get swatted.
Yeah, true. Okay, I'll stop saying it.
Call it a different name.
It is a crazy thing to talk about because it's crazy.
I respect your culture.
No,
I don't, unless you're the racist ones. I respect the non-racists on QAnon. Stay away from me. I'm neutral.
Okay.
I will not be running for president.
The reason I went down this rabbit hole is because the TikTok that we watched of the girl was like, I don't want to be a corporate whatever. I was very confused because I was like, this seems like a normal girl, you know?
Yeah.
This seems like a normal person. Like, how does it get to the point where this content is being
propagandized,
right?
Well, for the record,
like, how does
she can do that? I would like to wait. I just realized we haven't made it clear. She can live that life.
Yes.
We're fine.
No, I've said that several times.
She just shouldn't be mean. Don't be mean. But now we're being mean.
I don't even know if she's being mean. I don't even think she's being mean.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I was surprised to see it, and I was like, where does this start? Like, where... Oh my god, this is such a hard thing to talk about. Like, how does it get to the point where otherwise seemingly normal people are pushing stuff that I think looks like propaganda? Like, it just, like, really throws me off. Just really makes me feel weird.
Dude, I was thinking that the other day when I was driving home, when this normal guy was like in the middle of the street dancing with one of those Jesus Saves signs. I was like, how do you get here?
Sure. Okay, so how do you get here?
Yeah.
Right? Then, again, crazy. You know about January 6th?
Yeah, Squeaks has told me about
the
it.
Squeaks thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's like, Squeaks, where were you January 6th? Okay, January 6th, people stormed the Capitol, right? For Donald Trump, whatever. And it was not all QAnon, but there were people that were QAnon believers, right, that were there. One man who, like, as people say that he's QAnon, was arrested.
How many people showed up to that? Do you know?
There were 2,000 people that stormed the Capitol, or inside.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, people died.
That's impressive planning on their part.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So there was a guy that was arrested who's QAnon, and in jail he demanded organic food. I will note, QAnon, people that are QAnon or believe in whatever the fuck, say that he's not one of them. It's like, he was planted there to make us look stupid. We're not like that, whatever. But, like, some people think that he is. The point is, he goes to jail and he demands organic food.
Okay.
Which is just weird, right?
No,
and random.
The
I feel like when you think
are controlling our brains, so I get it.
Okay, so here we go. Is when you think of, like, QAnon and radical thinkers, whatever, conspiracy theorists, I feel like you think about a redneck, like, eating burgers, like, sitting in their house alone.
Yeah.
Right? And the truth is, there is a pipeline that a lot of people can enter to, like, become super radicalized thinkers, conspiracy theorists, whatever.
It starts with Jay Schlatt YouTube videos.
Yeah, that organic food piece is important because when I went to think about how normal people get into this, the basis is a distrust for authority, right? The basis is like, they're trying to poison us, right? We can't eat this food. It's dangerous. We only eat organic food, whatever. So then I was like, okay, but is this a thing that actually happens? We understand now that there's a baseline common ground. Like, we distrust authority. We don't want people to, like, hurt us. We, like, don't, whatever. We need to do our own research, right? Mm-hmm. This is, like, a baseline that even the furthest end of the pipeline for QAnon believes, and mommy bloggers who eat organic foods, right? It's like, there's a common ground there. So then I was like, okay, but is this a thing that actually happens? So there's this yoga teacher. Oh my gosh, I forget her name anyway.
Sorry, she has to log into her QAnon account real quick.
I don't think there's an account for it. Guru Jagat.
Whoa,
is the name she went by.
Whoa.
So
did Prezzo give you the pass for that? It's crazy.
So she was a yoga instructor in 2020 in LA. She's now dead. She died from, like, a pulmonary something. It was, like, kind of a freak thing, but whatever.
Oh, was it?
It was. So she was a yoga instructor in 2020 in LA, and she was pretty popular. Like, she had a big online following. She would live stream her yoga classes. She would do in-person retreats. She was like Kate Hudson and Alicia Keys' yoga instructor. Like, people loved her.
Okay.
Right? And just, like, normal yoga instructor goes up there, like, whatever. I don't do yoga. I don't know anything. But then the pandemic started. COVID started. And she kept doing in-person classes. And she also had a podcast. And so she would start having people on the podcast. Again, we're starting at the beginning of the pipeline here, right? So these are people that are already walking through Whole Foods, picking up magazines that say, doctors don't want you to know this, right? It's like, that's like the beginning of this pipeline. Is like, doctors don't want you to know about these supplements. That's like a pretty mainstream, okay, like I could pick that up in a Whole Foods, Trader Joe's today.
Yeah.
It's pretty mainstream, like accepted distrust of Big Pharma.
Yeah, everyone distrusts Big Pharma.
Yeah, it starts with that. So this woman's already there. She's already like, doctors don't want us to know this. Like, we're taking control of our wellness, right? She starts having people on her podcast that start talking about the virus, where it came from, that it might be pumping into the air, that it might be 5G that's causing the coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
And all of her followers are like, oh no, because they are literally like her students, like she's their teacher.
Dude, so I want to start teaching my viewers.
You could say anything. I think about that all the time when I'm teaching conservation. It's like I could say something so not true and they would just believe me.
Guys, you've been wondering why Taylor Swift is so popular right now? It's because I put her in the 5G.
She's pumping it into the air.
I did it.
Okay, but so it started here, right? Then she has this guy on her podcast who is super anti-Semitic, was denied a visa to get into Australia because he's so anti-Semitic.
Wow, jeez.
Not the best. But for her, it's like, we're going to bring people together to spread empathy, kindness, like we're all one soul, one, whatever yoga people say. She does this podcast with him.
Yeah, the light within me shines in the light within you. Namaste.
Okay, yeah.
That's what they say.
Okay. And he talks on the podcast about like reptilian extraterrestrials controlling our government. Right? So he is like far end of the pipeline.
That's
far end.
Yeah, okay.
Right? She is in the part of the pipeline where she's like, doctors don't want you to know this, which is not a far leap from doctors want us to get this vaccine. Right? Or the government wants us to get this vaccine.
I can believe that there are some things doctors don't want us to know.
Sure. Yeah. It's definitely not all baseless. Not all wrong.
Yeah.
So that's the beginning. It's not a far leap to anti-vax.
Yeah.
It's not a far leap to like doctors want us to get these vaccines. Then it's a distrust in like generally they want to hurt us. They want to hurt our kids. This is where like organic food, supplements, whatever comes in. Then you get on social media and there's this post in like 2020. Yeah, a post in like 2020 had like hundreds of thousands of shares, whatever. Shared to infinity on Instagram. And it was like cute aesthetic. Like it was probably like, cursive writing, whatever. And it was like children are 66,667 times more likely to be sex trafficked than to get COVID.
Whoa.
Note, at the far end of the QAnon pipeline, there's a belief that everything at the top, like Hollywood, politicians, big pharma, whatever, they're all child sex traffickers. They're all pedophiles. They're Satanists,
I keep hearing that for the record.
Yeah. It's like that is like the far end.
I have heard that
of
a
this
lot.
pipeline.
I even watched a documentary on stream once about that, and it was really weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So there's this post on Instagram, right? And it's like, your kids are 66,000 times more likely to get sex trafficked than get COVID. And you know who that attracts is soccer moms, mommy bloggers, because they care about kids. And they're like, oh my God, I need to protect my kids. Like, what are they doing to my kids? And there are so many pockets of it and so many entry points that it's literally called a pipeline. Like from yoga wellness to what you'd think is not radical at all, bunch of short leaps to radical racism, anti-Semitism, bullshit, bad stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I spiraled this morning is because
it is interesting because I assume this woman didn't get the vaccine, right?
I didn't look I assume she didn't.
I assume she didn't, which is funny because like nowadays when you see anyone has like dies from a blood clot or a heart thing, they're like, oh, they got the vaccine, and it's like, so I wonder what her followers. I bet
there are a lot of people that are like, she didn't have a pulmonary embolism, like
yeah,
this happened
Epstein didn't kill himself, which he didn't. but you know,
it's another episode.
It's another episode.
But yeah, so the reason that I was spiraling this morning is because the foundation of all of these beliefs, the beginning of the pipeline and the end of the pipeline, is that there's a distrust in authority. And there's a fear of persecution. There's a fear of like they want to get us, like they want to ruin, like hurt my kids, or they want to hurt us or shorten our lifespan or make us pay for medicine or whatever. And because of that, there's no large scale way to de-radicalize conspiracy theorists. Even no small scale way either, because even in your life, like everybody's got a grandparent that is a conspiracy theorist if you're in the US, or everybody's got someone in their life that's like anti-vax, like think that, you know, they're out to get us, whatever they think. And the second you say that's crazy, or like you don't know what you're talking about, or like that's wrong, the reaction is they don't want me to know, or they don't understand. So then they get pushed further down the pipeline to people that are like, come over here, I get it. Right. I don't think you're crazy. Like I see, and then that's more radicalization. The only way to address this is prevention, and prevention of social media propaganda. How the hell are we going to do that?
Yeah, you know? I don't know. Because like, then you have to have someone responsible for the takedowns, which then like freedom of speech becomes an issue. And then
it's a whole social engineering nowadays is so scary. And all I know is that they have a ton of data, and my example of like the anti-birth control kids be a homemaker, like really freaks me out, because I really almost stopped taking birth control. And if I stopped taking birth control and then I got pregnant, I'm in Texas, so then I have a kid, like it's just like scary stuff. I think the takeaway from this whole thing, even though I've been spiraling all morning, is just like, you have to take everything you see online with a grain of salt. You have to take everything that you consume with a grain of salt online. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know, like, why it's coming to you. And you don't, like, it could be originated from a 4chan forum from 2017.
Yeah, Maya actually just made up this entire story, actually.
It could be presented to you in a very soft way that you're not expecting. Like, there are people that you would not expect that can be funneled into a very scary pipeline and go down a very scary path. With the end of it is violence.
Yeah, I think social media is bad and we should get rid of it all, even though it would mean that we would be temporarily jobless. But I feel fine about that. For the greater good of humanity, I'm chill being jobless.
Okay, let's do it. Let's start the movement.
It's so bad. I know it sounds like
quit.
Yeah, it sounds contradictory to be like, get rid of social media and then to be on it 12 hours a day. It is my job right now. So it's like, as much as hating a fast food chain, but then you work at a fast food chain, or you work at Amazon, even though you hate big corporate, like, you know, we sometimes hate the man, but yeah, it's so bad for you. Everything about social media is so bad.
Propaganda in the past has started wars. It's killed how many people, right? Like, propaganda pumped out at this level is like, that's the other thing about propaganda, is you don't call it propaganda when it's happening.
Yeah, I could see America having like
these people.
Another civil war just over like Trump getting reelected or not, you know, like just like fighting each other, because it's just like people get so worked up and they get antagonized by what gets pumped to them via TikTok, Instagram, Reels, Facebook, whatever.
Facebook, yeah. And like the way algorithms work is like it recommends things to you that just push you further down the pipeline.
Yeah.
You know? It's like you start being like, oh, I'm a little concerned about the pesticides in my food. And it's like, well, are you concerned about what's in your vaccines? Here's this group that talks about it, you know? And then it's like, well, are you concerned about Bill Gates? here's a group that talks about him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you think that Hollywood is reptilian.
Well, it is like aliens. It is really confusing and weird, some of the stuff, because it's like, okay, like Epstein Island, we know for a fact was like a sex ring full of also minors. Like, it was also sex trafficking, but there were also minors. There was all sorts of problems with that. And there is documented, like, Clinton went to Epstein Island, like all of these celebrities that went to Epstein Island. And so it's like, there's always some, like, that is true. Like, there are some celebrities that were friends with him that participated in use of sex trafficking, if not use of sex trafficking with minors, and that's disgusting and deplorable. And it's like, okay, so those people should be in jail. Like if we have if we have proof of that, then they should go to jail. But then those facts get escalated to, yeah, everyone in Hollywood is a pedophile and a cannibal and whatever. And it's like, oh wow, and maybe they are, and maybe we're not woke.
The overall promise of QAnon is that all of these people at the top are evil, cannibalistic, satanic pedophiles, child sex traffickers, and that there will be a storm or an event where they're all taken down. So,
is it like the second coming of Jesus Christ? You know what I'm talking about? Where some people get saved. What's it called? It starts with an R. The
resurrection?
No. Oh God, you get saved. Some people, it's the word rapture.
Rapture.
Yeah, the rapture. What's the word for when you get saved? Space. When you get saved from the rapture, there's a certain word too. You get like sucked. You get like
saved. Chosen.
No, it's
rescued.
Special word. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Is it the rapture? Or is it something separate? Like, is this not religious ties?
No, it's not. It's not. It's I'm sure there are pockets of it that are, but the general is that they're going to get indicted. So they think that like a lot of them are big supporters of Donald Trump, and they think this part's kind of crazy. There are people that think that Trump is in on QAnon with them. That like he's collecting all these indictments and he's gonna like expose everybody and get them all arrested, and then the world will be at peace because he's just removing all of the filth from the top.
Oh, so they're pissed that he's being arrested.
A lot of them are Trump supporters, yeah. But there are people, they'll in the online forums say, so there's this one instance where they're like, Trump, use the phrase tip top if you're with us. Like that kind of thing. No. And then months later he said tippy top in a speech, and they were like, he's with us. Wow. Right? Is like, this is why it's called a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Is it's just absolute conspiracy. But the scary thing about it is that there is a pipeline that can lead very normal people into very radical thinking. And the end of the pipeline is violence. I mean, this is not a conspiracy theory where people are like, Bigfoot's real, let's go find him.
Those are
and like hang out in the woods. This is like, these people are pedophiles, these people are cannibalists, we're anti-Semitic, we hate these people, let's get rid of them.
Wow.
So the concept is terrifying, and I'm very scared for social media, and so I wanted to talk about it. One, it's interesting, and two, I just want you guys to like take everything with a grain of salt that you see come up, because we don't know what, like, TikTok is such unprecedented, like, unprecedented territory.
If you are a QAnon mermaid vampire, let us know in the comments. We've been looking for vampires. We've been looking for mermaids. Now QAnon mermaid vampires. Give us a whoop whoop.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I will say, like, it is interesting how much, like, how confusing it could be with the news, with information found online. Everything can be catered. Like, you can, if you want to find out that apples are poison, you can find something online to back your thought. You simply can. If you want to find out if your dog can read your mind, you can find something, like some article will back you up, because it's just endless. The internet is an endless pool of all this stuff. And it's just like, it's fascinating.
It is.
And I wish there was a way to navigate it all safely, because I too would love to know. I would love to know, because there's even been some scientific backing saying, like, at least I think, who knows if this was even right, like saying like, like maybe we did let the vaccine out a little much, but it also shouldn't be causing like all of these issues. But like maybe we let it out a little early, and like this has been tested that maybe this should have been changed in the whatever. And like that is an article that like I've seen more recently in the past, like whatever. And it's like, okay, so if that's true, I can see how the leap could be like, oh yeah, you should have never taken it, you know, like you should have, like, but it's like, I don't know. It's just fascinating.
It's just short. It's terrifyingly short leaps that feel harmless.
I mean, you got there because you didn't want to take birth control.
That's true. But I mean, like, unknowingly making those leaps, these are like soccer moms, they're not going to 4chan and looking at racist memes and being like, haha, funny. They're not looking at beheading videos and being like, yeah, right? It's like, I care about my children's health. Like, I'm scared about what's in our food. I'm scared about my children's health. I'm scared of what's in vaccines, you know? And then, and it just like keeps going. And not everybody gets that far, right? Because even for us, saying like 5G is what caused the virus, that's too much for me, right? Like, I stop at that part of the pipeline. Yeah. There are people, small groups that just continue up. And when there's such a large group of people that are susceptible to the beginning of it, there's a larger group that's going to get to the end of it.
But it is interesting how some of this stuff has validity, like just ounces of it, like being like, oh, all of Hollywood is pedophiles and whatever, when it's like, oh, here's this entire group that did go to Epstein Island. Like, holy shit, that's gross. You know, it is so fascinating how there's little things that are true, but then they just get kind of surrounded by a lot of scarier, like maybe somewhat baseless accusations. Like it is interesting.
But it's so easy to believe the crazier stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're surrounded by people that are like, yes, like you're seeing it now. That's the other crazy thing about, like, it's all in the rhetoric too. This is propaganda that we're talking about, right? Yeah. There's the far end of the pipeline that they're sitting there and they're saying they're out to get us. Clinton is sucking children's blood, right? Yeah. They're like, so we cool see it now. We see what they are.
She's a boss.
But then there's yoga instructors and students that are saying this is the awakening of consciousness, right? We are like seeing what's happening and we're protecting our bodies. You know, it's like, it's all in the rhetoric, but the foundation is the same. And getting there feels softer and feels more harmless, but is very possible to have the same effect. It just freaks me out.
Well, it's really interesting because also how you're raised depends on a lot of things. Like I was raised in a very, and this happens a lot in Mormonism. I think it happens a lot in probably normal relationships where, I could be generalizing, so forgive me if I'm generalizing, where men more often have stronger opinions on politics that they push upon, maybe not even men. One partner usually has stronger opinions on politics that they can push upon someone that has not as many. And that this is, I'm talking as an example, my family specifically. My mom, I don't think she had very many opinions with politics, but my stepdad had a ton. He listened to like Rush Limbaugh in the morning and like, you know, and so he would push on her, and then like that kind of is what the family believes. And then even now my sister, I remember having this talk with my sister about like, this is weird that we're talking about politics on Wine About It, how we got here. I don't know.
This is a crazy episode.
I remember talking to my sister about like, all the children, this was like 2016 or something, when all the children were, like when there was this big group of immigrants that got like, put in these like immigration camps, and there was like a bunch of children separated from their parents. And like at some point Trump like approved of all of this. And I remember saying this to my sister, like, are you okay? Like, cause she's a Trump supporter, because my brother-in-law is a Trump supporter. I was like, are you okay with that decision? Like, do you understand that? And she had no clue what was even going on. And I'm like, that's interesting because you wholeheartedly say like, oh, I support this guy, but you don't know what's happening, which granted, I would like to say every president makes fucked up decisions. But you know, just saying like, okay, where'd you get this? But I remember like my stepdad wholeheartedly believed that Obama was related to Osama bin Laden or something like that. Like, and he wholeheartedly was one of those people that was like, yeah. And I remember going to school and all of my friends were like big Obama supporters. And I remember being so confused, like, what is going on? Like, and then I had to do my own research, and I was like, wait, I think Obama's dope. Uh-oh. And I realized like there's some point in your life, it's same with religion. Like at some point in my life, I realized like, oh, Mormonism isn't for me. But at some point in my life, I was like, oh, my parents aren't right. Like what's pushed on me isn't right. But like some people never realize that, and they just go with what's socially acceptable in their family, or, you know, the best way to, it's survival of the fittest. Sometimes sometimes you leave Mormonism and you get ostracized by your entire family. Sometimes you say you're a part of a different political family and you get completely ostracized, you know? So it's scary, but So I imagine, especially with this more intense stuff that's happening now, like, man, I can't imagine being raised in a household like that and eventually leaving that pipeline. That's so difficult. Like that's what's scary for me, is seeing how that can be affected. Cause it's of my siblings, I think I'm the only one that got vaccinated of my siblings.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
Oh.
It's also scary, the comfort I think that comes with having a group that believes all the same things, you know, and like humans love being in on something and like knowing things that other people don't, right? So this idea of like, we know everybody else doesn't see it is like really comforting, and you want to like stay in there. So then to move out of it and be like, no, you guys are wrong, like I'm going with the general public, it feels like backtracking. I think, if you were trying to escape it, which it seems like a very scary thing to do. I don't think there are a lot of people that do that. All of the older people that I know that have some of these beliefs that are like, that hate the government, my grandfather, for example.
Yeah.
That is like, there is no world where I see him finding a hole in it and being like, maybe everything that I've ever believed is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's scary to go the other way, and he won't. It's just way easier to go further down the pipeline.
I will say, I can be wrong at any point. Like there has been a lot of stuff, like learning about like the way government does stuff. I remember being very young and being like, yes, like, you know, the president will take care of us. But now like seeing like Joe Biden tweet out like, shoot, so many mass shootings, someone's got to do something. And you're like, oh boy, like, oh boy. And so it is hard to have trust in the government when it's like, oh, yeah, it is scary.
On that same topic, I listened to 2 podcasts this morning and read 3 articles, right? So like I could be wrong about a lot of these things. This is what I've learned this morning. What I do know for sure is that we have to be careful with social media. That is my big takeaway. Take everything you see with a grain of salt.
As you should, because so many people were pissed off on the witch episode 2 episodes ago when you talked about witches.
I heard people were
Maya was wrong.
Maya, this is wrong.
You idiot.
Know what's crazy?
What happened?
Is I spent so much time doing research for that. I fact-checked myself.
You got an F on the report card for that one.
I fact-checked myself. You Google something. I saw a couple people try to correct me on things. They were like, not this many people died, this many people died. And you search like how many witches were prosecuted. It's like the top Google search for just Salem. And they're like, see, it was only this many women. Persecutions happened so far before Salem. Like they just did way shallower research and they were like, wrong.
Damn.
It pissed me off. I was like, don't fact check me if you're wrong about your fact check. I don't know. I was probably wrong about a lot of things because I'm not an expert.
She doesn't even know witches
on this. But I did try. And a lot of the fact checking that I saw was wrong. There may be some that was right, but a lot of it was wrong.
Dang it.
I stand by what I said.
So maybe our QAnon episode.
That people are going to be pissed. I'm actually a little worried about it.
Really? Maybe we shouldn't have done this.
No, it's fine.
Should this go on Patreon?
No. I think it's fine. I think it's important that people know to watch out for what they're consuming.
Okay. Well, I feel good about it. What are we going to title it?
I don't know.
I'm scared.
I was thinking about that halfway through. I was like, I don't know.
Maya went down a rabbit hole.
Maya's a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, Maya's a Maya stormed the Capitol. Maya's
a reptile.
Is a reptile. Maya is sucking the blood out of babies. It would be cool of you to do. How do you think they get all these babies? What's the thought process there? Do they have any facts?
I have not.
Like, oh, there's a missing baby.
Go that far.
Missing baby network, and all of these missing babies are in 3-block radius of Hillary Clinton.
I'm sure there's somewhere online where you could find something like that.
Wait, really quick, Space, will you Google the map of missing people versus the map of underground tunnels and the map of national parks? Have you seen this?
I've heard there are people that think that there's like giant child sex trafficking rings underground.
Oh, that's not what I was saying. Yeah. I was just
Oh.
thinking that there are people that live there, like Bigfoot is a cannibal and he grabs people and he drags them into their tunnels and he eats them.
Oh.
That's what I think.
Well, if there are people that believe that, then the end of the Bigfoot pipeline is violence as well.
No!
They're gonna go find him. They're gonna find him and kill him.
Guys, if you find Bigfoot, please take a picture.
Take a picture.
On a good phone.
Yeah. And then tag us.
And maybe, actually, not a picture, a little video, please. And maybe talk to him. No one ever talks to him. Look at that.
Wow.
Top most showed mysterious cases of people vanishing without a trace, and the bottom map shows America's largest cave systems.
Okay, well, that seems like such an obvious overlap.
What do you mean?
If people are gonna take people and hide them.
Dude, in October, I want to do, I guess we can start spooky stories now. I want to do research on the Appalachian Mountains. I've always heard creepy things about them.
They have incredible salamander and millipede diversity there.
Well, if you ever go there,
that.
if you hear something, you didn't hear it.
Oh.
Spooky. Oh.
That sounded really spooky.
That was scary, actually. All right, well, this has been interesting and surely won't lead to any hate threads on 4chan or QAnon.
Yeah.
For the record, it was all her.
For the record, I've only done a little bit of research and I'm mostly just concerned about the future of social media.
And maybe you guys were right all along, besides the racist stuff. That's never right. But leave us alone, please. We were just doing research. I'm so scared. I'm so afraid of the internet. It's not even funny. I'm so terrified.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Whine About It. We're going to jump into the bonus episode now. If you haven't had a chance to check out our bonus episodes, they're over on Patreon.
Like and subscribe.
Bye.
Goodbye.